Two people. Who's that? Sabrina Merrick. Hey, thank you again. $5. I don't know if y'all heard the feds removed the pride flag from the Stonewall Inn. This was a symbol of gay rights in New York City. Holy shit. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Wow. Bertram Tibbles. I'm sorry. What's up, brother? Unknown Trader. Hello, people. Thanks, man. I will. I'll try. Bertram, yes, but I believe the governor put it back. Oh, good. Nick Valente, how could the feds even do that? I mean, fucking nuts. It's amazing the things that bother these people and the things that don't, you know? Like gay pride flags drive you nuts, but full on pedophilia, you're like, what the fuck's the big deal, you know? Fucking disgusting. Sabrina, hello, people. All right, guys, hit the like button, please. You know the routine. It's very important. There's no reason everybody who's watching right now shouldn't hit the like button or couldn't. I know she was out there with Mom Donnie talking about that situation. Oh, okay. Good. And personally, listen, I'm not, you know me, guys. I'm not I never pretend to be anything I'm not. Like, I'm not a big guy who fights for like gay rights, although I do think people should have equal rights, regardless of what they are. I'm not somebody who's offended by somebody taking down a pride flag, but I know that there are people that are, and I don't see the harm in keeping it up. I just don't get it. I mean, what the fuck is the big deal? It's insane. That these are the issues that our government is worried about. Yeah, we still haven't gotten all the Epstein files, but yeah, let's take down gay pride flags. Well, it's the beginning of the show. Weird comment 4. It's the beginning of the show. That's how it goes sometimes. Well, quite frankly, all the time. Yeah, I just don't get it. People hate in this country so easily. They just there's half this country that hates everyone, man. I don't get it. Life is too short. You know, what did that guy from American History X say? The kid, life is too short to walk around pissed off all the time, hate his baggage. It's true. It really is. I mean, I don't have time in my day to be hating people. You know what I mean? Unless you did something to me personally or my family, your existence, you know, I'm indifferent to it. I'm not mad about it. I'm not necessarily glad about it. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't even think about it. No matter what group you're a part of. Well, yeah. Well, why is that hate? It's by saying, will MAGA ever turn on Trump, you stupid fuck? Will Democrats ever have a brain? They're the only ones with brains. When you get grandkids, you'll understand. Don't push it down people's throat. Just saying. You know, I have kids, Dana, and you know I love you, but we disagree on this stuff. I don't, you know, I don't need to have grandkids to, you know, like I'm not going to feel differently. It's not pushing it down anybody's throat. It's just there's a flag. People who like it pay attention to it. People who don't have to. You know what I mean? That's all I say. I mean, it's not my. I've never like had my daughter say, you know what? I was straight as an arrow, but after seeing that gay pride flag, I'm definitely a lesbian now. You know? I don't know, man. It's just people should be left alone. And again, I don't see the need for those flags all over the place, but then again, there's no need for the American flag all over the place, right? But certain people like it. So I don't know. You know, I love you, Dana. We'll always disagree on this stuff, but thank you for complimenting these shows yesterday. I appreciate that. What do I do if my mouthpiece is stuck in my trumpet? That's the funniest fucking question I was ever asked. I don't know. Bro, Democrats are always yelling in the streets on behalf of someone else. Yeah, exactly. Don't you get it? Thank you for stating that. Yeah, in other words, people that aren't even affected by certain things fight for the rights of other people who are affected by certain things. You know, that's as noble an act as anybody could possibly commit. I mean, it's like when they used to say about Colin Kaepernick, why the fuck is he kneeling for black people when he doesn't have to deal with the shit they have to deal with? He doesn't get pulled over and have to worry about getting shot by the cop. Well, that's what makes it noble, right? If he only protested it because it affected him, it would be selfish and narcissistic. If he protests it because it affects other people, that's noble. You know, how can you fault a person for that? Meanwhile, you guys are constantly yelling and bitching about the people you hate and how they should be banished from the earth, you know? This guy's, it's pointless having him here. He hasn't said one thing about politics yet. Democrats kill their own babies. No, they don't. They do not. Murdering a baby is illegal. You can't do that. Sabrina Merrick, $5. Also, a guy stated Trump aped him when he was a young boy. I know. Thank you again for the $5. It's Greenwich Village, for God's sakes. Nobody's pushing anything down anyone's throat. Yeah, I mean, it's a gay area already. And listen, Dana's a sweetheart of a person. She's a good person. We just disagree on politics. But yeah, it's not. I mean, believe me, as soon as I have a family member who's a teacher, as soon as she tells me, oh, now we're being forced to, I don't even want to use the word, force it down a kid's throat. You know what I'm saying? But we're being made to force this stuff on kids, push it on them. Then I would be in an uproar. I would be up in arms. I'd be losing my fucking mind. I'd say, what? Why? What is the need for this? And quite frankly, I'm going to tell you the truth, guys. I don't see the need for any conversation in schools about any type of sex, unless it's like sex ed. For gay issues shouldn't even be spoken about. Trans issues, in my opinion. But again, I have yet to see any widespread situation where kids are being forced to, I don't know, participate in some sort of gay activity or being indoctrinated into believing that gay is the way. Never anything like that. Never anything like that. And I have a 13-year-old in fucking school in a fucking redneck state in a redneck area, and none of that shit. I mean, you know what I mean? And I know I said it's a redneck area, but it doesn't matter. You go to schools in Philadelphia, same thing. Pittsburgh, same thing. Blue cities, nothing is happening like this. Nothing is happening. It's not. You guys take like one situation in California where a teacher socially transitioned a kid, which I don't even know what the fuck that means. And you act like it's happening in every school across America every day. It's not. I've never seen. I'll tell you what you could be mad at. Something that irritated me. I'm just being honest. I don't mean to piss my lib friends off. Blues Clues years ago had a fucking an episode that was nothing but a gay pride parade. It was the weirdest, most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life. And that actually did kind of piss me off because that's shoving it down their throats, so to speak. But it's not happening in our schools and stuff. If something like that is going on TV, the parents are supposed to be there, and if they don't like it, they just change the fucking channel. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got 2 million views in the last 28 days, so I'm doing good. No need for the U.S. flag in the U.S. Democrats hate America. No, it's not necessary. I don't mean it shouldn't be there. I'm just saying, just like you say one flag shouldn't be there, the other, or doesn't need to be there, the other flag doesn't need to be there. And if you like that flag, you can put it on your house. Whatever. Just like gay people could put a gay pride flag on their house, but that will piss you off because you're all closeted. You're all fucking very repressed. It's true. You can never convince me otherwise. Nobody hates gay people unless, or speaks as if they hate gay people unless they're overcompensating for something, unless they're trying to, throw people off their trail, like they're getting close to realizing you're gay. So you better start talking more about how much you hate them. Again, yesterday we looked, I read like dozens of stories about, well, not stories, but dozens of names of Republican politicians, many of which are anti-gay Republican politicians. They're always pushing anti-gay legislation and shit. And They're all being busted for pedophilia and gay sex scandals. I mean, it works this way all the time. This is how it goes. We do, but I couldn't care less about the rainbow flag. It doesn't affect my life unless it's pushed on mine. All right, well, there you go. Then we agree on that. Yeah, we agree. I'm surprised, Dana. I feel like America is the next Rome. Who knows? USA is a cesspool built on racism and prejudice. It is. And guys, again, I'm no liberal. You guys, I know a lot of people have been brainwashed to think that anybody who doesn't like Trump is a liberal. If you just listen to some of the stuff I said in the last few minutes, you know, I'm not a liberal. But I'm closer to being that than ever being a conservative. I'll tell you that fucking much. You know what I mean? Because again, I have this crazy belief. I know it's shocking, but I have this crazy belief that everybody should just mind their own fucking business. And everybody else, you know, everybody in general should be able to live however they want. You know why I have no problem with gay people? Gay people have never had a negative effect on my life or anyone I know. Never. Never. Neither have trans people. That, as far as I see, they're just living their lives. What do you hate them for? I think it's a certain type of person, the conservative, not all of them, but the majority of them, or the people that pretend to be conservatives. Let's face it, if you support Donald Trump spending $110 million on golf trips in his first year, you're not a conservative. Okay. If you support Donald Trump, spending $1 billion to retrofit a plane that he'll be able to use for about 3 months before he leaves office, and then it goes with him, you know, that you're not a conservative. But the people who pretend to be conservatives, many of them, like I say on every show, they're like Archie Bunker. They sit around pissed off all the time, and they doom scroll and they watch things that piss them off instead of ignoring it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't watch Fox News. It pisses me off. It's all bullshit. It's right-wing propaganda. But, you know, I don't sit around 24 hours a day and bitch about it because I just don't acknowledge it. I'll bring it up on these shows, but that's it. These people, it's very strange. Like, they hate everything and everyone who doesn't look exactly like them and act exactly like them, you know? And again, if I really believed that you were all against gay people like you claim to be, and that's all it was, that'd be one thing. It still wouldn't be right. But the bottom line is I don't believe it for a second. I told you, we had a guy named MRE in this community this channel's a part of. The guy, all he did, he's related to some mobsters, and all he did was talk about rats. I hate rats. Rats. That's all you heard from him. The same way conservatives talk about gay and trans people. And I said to everybody, now watch, we're going to find out he's a rat. Someday we're going to find out. Sure enough, we found out he had a huge gun case that could have got him 20 years, and he told on everybody. Okay? That's just the way it is. Whatever you're running around bitching about 24 hours a day, there's a good chance you're that thing. You know, I can't understand where the anger would come from otherwise. I can't understand. I guarantee you none of these people, I'm not saying not a single one, but the majority have never been approached by a gay person or bothered by a trans person or anything like that. You know, they just decide this is who we hate, and they're going to hate them until they fucking die. It's unbelievable. It's unreal. I could not imagine living like that, man. There's so little time we have, guys. It's great to walk around happy and good spirits. You know, why fuck that up by deliberately paying attention to things that piss you off so you can walk around angry all fucking day? I don't get it. Oh, yes, they do. What are you thinking abortion is? And what do you think that happens in New York, that you can kill your baby after the baby is born? That's exactly what they do. Sabrina, there is no such thing as an after-birth abortion, post-birth. That is, if you really believe that, Sabrina, you should seriously consider getting electroshock therapy or a lobotomy. Because that is not, if that was happening in New York, that's all that would be talked about 24 hours a day on every single news station, nonstop, no matter what, until it stopped. You cannot kill a baby. It's fucking murder. You jackass. How come if somebody walks up to a baby and you know, actually kills it, they go to prison for life and most likely get the death penalty. But according to you, it's being done all the time legally. Get the fuck out of here, dummy. It fucking is not. No one hates trans people. It's when you push it on other. Well, nobody's pushing it on you, and you all hate them. No one hates trans people. Please, you all do, and nobody's pushing anything on you. Nobody cares about you, guys. I know you think you're important. You remember when you used to say you're the forgotten voice, like you feel like you don't have a voice, like you're not being heard. You're not. Nobody cares about you. Nobody gives a shit. Everybody just wants to live their life, so they don't have any desire to push anything on you. I assure you. I mean, Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, you'll fucking support pedophiles all day and defend rapists and with no problem. But then you're going to worry about people who aren't bothering anybody. And if they're having sex, they're having it with other consenting adults. Ugh. All treasonous Trump lovers got to be stopped from voting ever again. I agree. You liberal pukes are a disgrace. Conservatives aren't the ones shooting people for being different. Conservative expert. I love people. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Conservative. Except I love people. You demons are the ones trying to dominate your rights over everybody. You're not well spoken at all. You know that, right? Conservatives. What do you mean they're not the ones shooting people? Do you remember Dylan Roof, the kid that went into the church and gunned down a bunch of black people simply because they were black? Do you remember that? How many abortion doctors have been killed by right-wing lunatics? How about Melissa Hortman and her husband getting gunned down in their own home? How about Paul Pelosi being beaten with a fucking hammer and then Donald Trump Jr. laughing about it, making a joke? Pretending he's going to dress up as Pelosi for Halloween and all that shit. I mean, 90% of these mass shooters are probably well over 90% are right-wing lunatics like yourselves. Look at the guy in the Las Vegas shooting. That guy was a big Trump guy. Fucking loved him. You know what I mean? That was that was when I'm not sure if he had. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, he had already won Trump. And that guy was a huge right-wing guy. You could read about him anywhere you want. I mean, you guys, it's so funny that everything you believe is the opposite of the truth. Literally everything. The overwhelming majority of political violence is committed by the right. You could look it up right now, anywhere you'd like. The overwhelming majority. 261 people. Guys, please hit the like button and subscribe. It's very, very important. And if you can, because I got to make money on these shows, please hit the like button. I mean, please send a super chat if you can. My bad. I got confused. Sabrina Merrick, $2. Chris, was it a different Sabrina? Love y'all. What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. I'm not sure, Sabrina Merrick. You are a sheep, the left will fall. Okay, so it's us, the free thinkers, the people that form our own opinions, study, research, learn. It's us that are sheep. It's not the people who attend every rally Trump does and wear the same shirts and the same hats and repeat the same dumb chants over and over again and laugh at every joke their leader says, even when he's insulting them about how unintelligent they are. It's us that are sheep and not you guys. Got it. I'll tell you what, when you find tens of thousands of us at a rally for a politician, all dressed exactly the same way, then I'm with you. We're sheep. Most people don't hate transsexuals, but we don't want biological males in women's sports or bathrooms. All right. Now, personally, I don't like it in sports. I don't see the need for it. But what is it about the bathrooms that bothers you? If you're a Trump supporter, you do. But I don't know if you are. What is it that bothers you about men going into women's bathrooms? Tell me. Oh, every single show, I wind up proving everything I'm telling you. And everybody knows it. The regulars here know that. So you could say that all you want, but it's not true. You're just new. How many people are dead by pedophile? What does that mean? Are you saying that because they don't get killed a lot of the time that pedophilia is okay? What are you comparing it to? I'm very confused. It's every political rally, dude. No, it's not. You've never seen that on the left. Never. It's never happened. Never. That is never fucking. You guys are insane. You're part of a cult. You literally drape yourselves in the guy's merch. You have the yard signs, the flags with his name on them, which is, by the way, desecration of the flag. But that doesn't bother you, of course not, because you're hypocrites. What are you talking about? We've never seen anything like MAGA, and especially those rallies are hilarious because there's more people than there are teeth, and it's just the biggest bunch of fucking redneck misfits you could ever imagine, being in one place at the same time. I'm asking, what about the bathrooms? You got to be kidding me. No. I'm asking you. I want to have the conversation, conservative MRE or NRA. My bad. God damn. I want to have the conversation. I want a guy with a penis in a woman's bathroom. Well, let's take a second and think about how that would go down. Okay, so basically, a person with a penis who looks more like a woman than a man. So if they went in the men's room, you'd be even more creeped out. Like, what the fuck? Because chances are a trans person going into a women's room, you're not even going to know they're a man. Okay. But let's just say they go in there, because I know you might think so, but nobody who's dressed like me or you is just walking into a women's room. It's pointless. It's people that already, transition to some extent. They look, at the very least, look like women, which is why they like to use the women's room. Because imagine how they're going to be reacted to if they walk into the men's room looking like a fucking woman. Okay. Now, personally, again, I don't see the need for it, but I'm not trans. So they apparently do. Now, here's the thing. This is what happens when you go into a women's room, I'm assuming. There's no urinals. I have to be correct about that, right? So the man is going to walk into the women's room, go into a stall, pee or take a shit, wash their hands, hopefully, and walk out. So what is it that you're worried about? What is it that you're worried about? The man shot in Portland wasn't considered political violence. We got a Trumper, bang, bang, bang. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by we got a Trumper, but yeah, that was political violence too. Absolutely. Women are allowed their own safe spaces. How much you want to bet the overwhelming majority of women are not worried about this? You want to know why? I'll give you the main reason. Again, you're not going to see their dick. That's not happening. Number one. And number two, most women have had sex with men. They've seen tons of dicks. You know what I mean? Depending on the woman. I guarantee you this is because I'll tell you what it is, guys. You're not worried about women. Conservative NRA and all you fucktards. Let me explain something to you. Right now, we have the biggest presidential scandal in American history. Donald Trump is named numerous times for raping 13-year-old girls. That doesn't even include the rape of E. Jean Carroll he was found civilly liable for. His wife in 1989 in court filings accusing him of raping her brutally. It doesn't include Katie Johnson in 1996, him raping her brutally with Epstein. It doesn't include any of that shit. Right? Just the shit that's in the files. And Elon Musk practically begging Epstein to come to the island. And Howard Nutlick bringing his children to an island where he knows he's going to meet a convicted pedophile. You guys ain't saying shit about any of those guys. None of you MAGA motherfuckers are saying anything about the quite obvious pedophilia that goes on in the Republican Party because it's your party. It's your party, right? You ain't worried about them. You're not worried about them. You're not worried about women. A judge, I forget what year it was. I was just listening to this. Maybe the law was changed. I think the law was changed by Trump. College campuses, something like, a woman has to be sexually assaulted 3 times before she could do anything about it. And even then, it's up to the majority of people to decide if they find it offensive or not. Okay. Because you don't care about women getting raped either. You don't care about women. You don't care about women. You don't care about women. You don't want them to have reproductive rights. So if they die on the operating table because of your dumb fucking fantasy religion, your stupid idiot beliefs, if they die on an operating table because the fucking doctor's afraid to operate on her, while she's giving birth, you don't care about that. When babies are born, if the woman is desperate, even though you forced her to have a baby, you don't want her getting food stamps, Section 8, cash assistance. You don't care about the kids either. You only care about them up until the point of birth. Like George Carlin said, if you're pre-born, you're good. If you're preschool, you're fucked. That's how Republicans see it. You don't care about women. You walk all over any woman that accused Trump of raping her, even when it's been proven by a goddamn jury. You just talk shit about them and degrade them and try to humiliate them. You guys don't care about women. You hate trans fucking people. You hate them. And the honest truth, I'm assuming, is that you would never even know if a trans person is going into a women's room. You'd never even know. And nobody in the bathroom would either. Here's the other thing. So I guess the concern would be assault of some sort, right? I remember when you guys were running around saying, oh my God, that all these perverts are going to go into women's rooms and rape women and sexually assault little girls and stuff, which, by the way, been years of this going on. We haven't heard more than maybe a couple cases of that actually happening. And I'll tell you why. Because if a guy wants to grape a woman or, do something to a little girl, he's not going to do it in a public restroom where there's witnesses. That's number one. Number two, if he wants to do that, if he's willing to commit a crime, you're talking about one of the most serious crimes you could ever commit that could get you 100 fucking years in prison, life without parole, whatever. You think that they're gonna reconsider if they're not allowed in the bathroom? Like, in other words, a guy who's willing to throw his whole life away to grape a woman is like, well, listen, I'm willing to risk life in prison, but I am not going to break the rules. If they say I'm not allowed in that bathroom, I'm not going in there. Think about how fucking dumb you sound. If somebody wants to do that, they're going to do it. They're not going to want to do it in the bathroom. And even so, if they did, they don't care if they're allowed in there or not. They don't give a shit. They're already breaking one of the worst laws in man fucking kind. I mean, what are you talking about, guys? You are so bizarre. The shit you worry about. This is why you're always fucking miserable, all of you, because you spend your whole day thinking about other people's choices and your lives suck because of it. That's why you're miserable, period. Oh, you didn't make the anti-abortion comment? Oh, shit. Okay. Let me see. I saw that one. Maybe I said Sabrina. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Kramer, thank you for the $5, brother. Thank you again, Sabrina. Curry, I don't know how to pronounce that. You do realize every news outlet has propaganda, CNN, Fox, and every news channel likes to gaslight to everyone into their political position. You obviously have been gaslit to the extreme with a lot of fake news. Please verify your information. Okay, tell me what you want to know, and I'll verify it. Thank you for the $49.99 too. That was a very classy way to disagree with me. What can I say? I'm very grateful. But I don't watch. Your problem is I don't watch CNN. I don't watch MSNBC. Fox News is the biggest news network in the fucking country because all you guys obsess over it. You watch it 24 hours a day. I don't watch that shit. I'm sure there's leftists that do. I haven't watched CNN, I swear to God, since 2014. I don't watch it. I watch a couple. There's a few. There's like 3, I think, left-wing podcasters. And if anything sounds off to me, I fact check that. I read and I research. I mean, you guys still think that the accusations in the Epstein files came from AI or Google when in fact they came from the Department of Justice.gov. But even that's bullshit if you don't like what it says, even though it's Trump's Department of Justice. I mean, I don't know what your point is, guy who gave me $49.99, but how have I been gaslit? Tell me how. You don't think it's you guys being gaslit? You don't think so? You watch Fox News. You don't think you're being gaslit. Wonderful. God damn, there's a lot of comments. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe. It's very, very important. All right, I'm going to go to the bottom of the chat now so I could see. Please tell me what information you would like verified. You mentioned a lot of shootings that didn't even make CNN. Okay, like what? Like which one? Oh, listen, CNN, I don't watch, but it's a light years better than watching Fox. Fox literally argued in court filings that anybody who takes them seriously or nobody in their right mind would take them seriously. Okay. That's why that was their defense for them lying to you about an election being stolen when it wasn't stolen. And they had to pay the largest defamation settlement in the history of America. Do you know that? They lie to you. I could tell you a bunch of things where they've lied so blatantly, and you guys don't know it because you don't watch anything else to see what they're up to. First of all, Trump doesn't like edited interviews, right? Okay, he sued 60 Minutes for editing an interview, right? Okay, well, during the same time in 2024, during the campaign, Trump was interviewed by Fox News, and they asked him, "Are you going to release the MLK files?" And he said, "Yeah, yeah." "Are you going to release the JFK files?" "Yes, yes." "Are you going to release the Epstein files?" "Yeah." And then they cut it off. That's all they showed you. But when other news networks got a hold of the unedited version, right after that, he says, "Well, I don't know about the Epstein files because a lot of good people could get hurt. There's a lot of, false stuff in there," something like that, which in other words, he means, I don't know about that because I'm all over those files. Okay. What was my fucking point? Oh, yeah. So they edited that. They showed you guys a video of an empty bus one time, but the seats looked like hijabs, like Muslim garb. And they told you it was a fucking bus full of Muslims coming to get you when in reality it was an empty bus. They showed you one time a video of what appeared to be a riot at a border. Okay, there's a big fence and there's people throwing Molotov cocktails and fucking each other up. This is what's happening at our southern border right now. This is what's going on. You believe this? They were in an outrage, right? Or uproar, I'm sorry. And then what do we find out? That video was from somewhere from years and years and years ago in South America. The way they lie to you is so blatant. And the thing is, if you don't watch anything else, you'll never know they're lying to you. You guys come in here every day and you spew complete and total misinformation. Everything you guys say is the complete opposite of the truth. And why is that? Because you trust one source and one source only, Fox News. And they lie to you all day, every fucking day. All day, every day. And let me tell you something. If I did listen to left-wing media, I would simply fact check it like I do with the podcasters. I'm not just going to believe anything they tell me. I'm not a dope. That's why it's called street smart politics. You can't just slip one by me. So if I hear something on CNN that sounds a little off, I'm going to fucking check it out. And before I go on YouTube and repeat it, I'm going to check it out. Fox Entertainment. Yeah. Let me see what else. Let me look at some comments. Donald Trump is the worst president of all time. Definitely. Oh, yeah. Was he making the argument that we all did it? We all shot Charlie Kirk. That's what they say. You killed Charlie Kirk. I thought it was one dude. Denial is a river in Egypt. Bootlickers. Yes. I'm saying they say whatever they can to support their party. So if a lot of what you said about 90% of shooters done by conservatives, they would roll with that, we wouldn't hear the end of it. Well, if you look up the overwhelming majority of political violence, go look it up right now. You got all the time in the world and come back and tell me what you find. You know? And these mass shooters, who do you think these people are? You think these kids that walk into schools and blow all their classmates away that are surrounded by guns in their home and shit, you think they're a bunch of liberals? Honestly, is that what you believe? I mean, it's pretty much self-explanatory, isn't it? CNN, let me tell you something about CNN and MSNBC. I'll tell you why I would never watch them. It's not because I think they're lying to me about Trump. It's because I think they're lying to me for Trump. Okay, whether you guys believe it or not, the so-called left-wing media runs cover for Trump as much as Fox fucking News does. Well, maybe a little bit less. Every major news network is owned by a MAGA billionaire. Every single fucking one. CNN, if they actually held Trump's feet to the fire, oh my fucking God. After that debate where Biden could barely speak, all CNN did, the left-wing media, was criticized and went out of their way to embarrass and humiliate Joe Biden. You know what they never talked about? The fact that Trump lied 36 times in 90 minutes in that debate. None of them have the balls to actually tell the truth about him to any real extent. It's always, they'll criticize him a little, but they're very, very careful what they say. I know you guys think that there's a witch hunt. Oh my God, they're persecuting Trump. If we actually had news media like Fox, who would make a huge deal out of every crazy thing Trump does, Trump would have never won a second term. He never would have won a first term. But the media doesn't do shit. They don't do shit. To help their so-called side. They don't. They run cover for Trump. I believe me, when I watch these liberal podcasters, they'll play clips of shit like that. CNN and MSNBC where they're going real soft on Trump. Well, he was named in the files multiple times, but there's no proof he did anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. It's like, well, you don't know that, but that's how soft they are on him. They're a bunch of fucking pussies. That's why most of us stopped watching TYT and shit like that, because they all decided to bow down to Trump. Where did Joe and Mika go when Trump got reelected? Oh, yeah, Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, where did Cenk and Anna go? Oh, yeah, they started becoming friendly with people like Charlie Kirk and white supremacists and fucking throwing their own party in front of a fucking bus. Okay, so there is no left-wing news media, believe me. We need some. That's why there's so many liberal podcasters, because they have to do the job the media isn't doing. You have read one file. Proof? You can't even remember what you're talking about, idiot. What does that mean, you have read one file? You mean because I can't remember what I'm talking about? Because for about a split second, I said, what was my point? Yeah, you're right. I can't remember. Yep. Sure. Are you telling me that you want me to read you the Epstein files? Because I will. I'll do it right now. Trump is not the whistleblower. Jesus Christ. That's what I mean about misinformation. You guys listen to that Fox horse shit. Did you actually read about the call that was made? All Trump did was said, hey, thank goodness you stopped him. Literally, that's a quote. He said to the police chief, thank goodness you stopped him. We all knew what he was up to for years. So that dumb motherfucker admitted that for all the years he was friends with Epstein and all that, he knew Epstein was a pedophile. Even though just recently he said, I didn't know anything about what Epstein was up to. He said to the chief of police he did. And the only thing he said that could be considered, I guess, if you want to call it whistleblowing, it's not, because the investigation already started. And that's another thing you got to remember. That phone call took place after it became public knowledge that Epstein was being investigated for child sex crimes. So Trump couldn't have blown the whistle. He called the cop. He said, thank goodness you stopped. You stopped this guy. He thanked him. And then he said, Ghislaine Maxwell's pure evil. Focus on her, which is so fucking easy to figure out. Obviously, his crimes were committed with Epstein. So it's like, well, let me take the attention off Epstein. Let me tell him to focus on Ghislaine, because she don't know shit about what I did. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's so, only you guys can't see through it. He even said, oh, by the way, I was in the room with Epstein with some teenage girls, but I left right away. Why were you there to begin with? But that was what he made the call for. So he could say, oh, shit. Fucking Epstein could tell him about the time we were with the teenage girls and stuff. So let me do a preemptive call. And that's what he did to try to cover himself. No, they didn't. You don't know, because you guys admittedly don't watch any of that shit. They did not. They criticized Biden more than they ever criticized Trump. They always do that with Democrats. Oh, wasn't it Jake Tapper who wrote a book just annihilating Joe Biden? Isn't he a CNN guy? Yeah, I believe so. Where's his book about Trump again? Oh, yeah, he didn't write one. See? Some victims were 9 years old. Yep. Let's talk Harvey Weinstein. What about him? Harvey Weinstein was like a movie producer. What about him? What does he have to do with anything related to the Democratic Party? Just out of curiosity, because I'm assuming that's what you're getting at, right? Guys, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe. And if you can, follow the lead of whatever the guy's name is who sent $49.99 in, or Sabrina, or any of the people, no matter how much they sent in. Please purchase a super chat, because that helps contribute to these shows. If you hate me, I don't expect you to. But the good guys, liberals, why don't you show them we're classier than them, please? Donate to the show. This way I can keep doing these shows and fighting against these jerk-offs. The big, beautiful obituary is coming. It is. It is. It's going to be the best obituary ever. Better than any obituary we've ever seen in our lives. It's going to be big. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be huge. Trump is a convicted felon. Yeah, he is. But they don't mind that. They don't mind that. They're not worried about it. But they totally back the blue, and they support law enforcement. They started supporting law enforcement on January 7th, 2021. Yeah. Because I could have sworn I saw 1,600 animals beating 140 police officers, some of which died on that day. But yeah, they back the blue. They're all for, unless, they're trying to, raid, I guess you could say, the Capitol or something like that, and the cops are in their way. Then they'll beat them with flagpoles, tase them, pepper spray them, stuff like that. But other than that, they totally back law enforcement, unless law enforcement was able to arrest and prosecute the 1,600 animals who did that. They don't back law enforcement then. They back the 1,600 who Trump pardoned, and they back him for doing just that, even though another one of these motherfuckers just got busted recently for child sex crimes. Another one of Trump's pardoned January 6th scumbags. So yeah, you totally back law enforcement, unless it's something's being done to you. Then you'll kill all of them if you can. Biden is the reason we in this mess, in my opinion. Sorry, caps lock, no problem. I understand you think that, but it's completely and totally not true. I mean, the economy, guys, was better under Biden than it is right now. That's a fact. That's something you can't even argue. You'll try to, but I'll make you look stupid. Not on January 6th. The next day, a cop died from a stroke, and the fucking coroner said that it was from related to the injuries he sustained the day before on January 6th. Several of them committed suicide right after January 6th. Like, I think one was January 15th. So I'm sure that had nothing to do with what they went through on the 6th. 5 cops died because of January 6th. 5. Let me see. I'm Italian, not Mexican right now. What are you saying, Antonio? You're a scumbag. Fuck you. I'm a scumbag. You don't like what I have to say? Bitch. Don't give them facts they can't handle them. I know, Lynn. I know. Maggie goes from J6, where cops actually got assaulted, to riding Trump's dick, lying about video evidence and not caring about the Second Amendment. Oh, my God. Trump just pissed all over the Second Amendment recently. So did Kash Patel. And they're like, so? Like, they don't even stand for that. I thought, okay, they definitely stand against pedophilia. All they wanted to see was the files. Then I realized, oh, no. They don't want to see the files now that they know Trump's in them. They only wanted to see them because they thought it was all Democrats, Pizzagate and shit. So they don't stand against pedophilia either. What the fuck do they stand for? Oh, the Second Amendment. They definitely, if Trump tried to infringe on their Second Amendment rights in any way, they're not having that. That would be the straw that breaks the camel's back. And then he did it, and they were like, big deal. So what? If a Democrat said that Kyle Rittenhouse, and which, by the way, that's a bad example, because Kyle Rittenhouse had no business being where he was. But if there was a guy, any guy, some right-winger, that went to a protest, wasn't breaking any laws or anything, had a gun on him, never reached for it, never touched it, was just trying to help somebody out who got pepper sprayed, and was beaten and shot 10 times, If a Democrat said, well, you shouldn't have been at a protest with a gun, and you certainly shouldn't have had a gun on you, period, you guys would lose your fucking minds. Literally, the first two amendments of the Constitution are the ones Alex Preddy was following to a T. And you guys are like, nope. So you got to lie about it and say that he pulled his gun. Meanwhile, it's on video. We saw them take his gun from him. An ICE agent took his gun and ran away with it before he got shot in the head. So what was Trump's felony? Why won't you answer? 34 counts of falsifying business records to cover up another crime. Campaign finance law violations, stuff like that. Pretty much election interference because he paid that hush money payment. Then he did the falsified business records to cover up the payment. But the payment was made because, Trump talks about election interference. Oh, my God, 60 Minutes. They edited 2 seconds of Kamala's interview. It's complete election interference. Well, Trump paid off a porn star that he fucked behind his current wife's back so she wouldn't tell all of us, the people that have a right to know before we vote for this scumbag, so she wouldn't tell us what he did. So, yeah, there you go. Oh, thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it. Not too many people in here are. Guys, please hit the like button and subscribe. I got a goal today for how many subs I need to get. So do that for me if you can. Lucky Charms. Yes, I appreciate you. Democrats went from slave ships to sanctuary cities. Better wake up, you Nazis. You're one of the smart ones, Antonio. Like I always say, the entire world can't wait for inmate Trump to take his dirt nap. Yeah, I know. You obviously know nothing about Rittenhouse. Oh, yes, I do. I know that Rittenhouse didn't live in that state. He lived in Illinois. Yeah. He had no business being there. He left his state and went to Kenosha, Wisconsin with a gun looking for somebody to kill. What don't I know about him? I think it's you that don't know anything about him. It's not us. You guys are the ones blowing him. You guys are the ones that fucking follow him blindly and will do whatever he tells you to do. You know what I mean? You would turn over your firstborn daughter to Trump and Epstein if Epstein was still alive and Trump told you to. You guys are fucking, you're the most disgusting people on planet Earth. What was the other crime? That's a misdemeanor. I just told you. Here, I'll let you. Somebody else explain it to you since you won't believe me. And you won't believe this either. You'll bash the source. What was the underlying crime in Trump's felony case?
In Donald Trump's New York felony case, the 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree were elevated from misdemeanors to felonies based on the allegation that they were committed to conceal a separate, underlying crime or to aid, conceal a conspiracy to promote a candidacy by unlawful means. Prosecutors argued that the falsified records, which recorded hush money payments to Stormy Daniels as legal expenses, were used to hide illegal efforts to influence the 2016 election. The underlying unlawful actions, as argued by the prosecution and supported by the jury conviction, included 1. Violations of federal campaign finance law, specifically, that the hush money payments functioned as excessive, undisclosed campaign contributions. 2. Violations of New York election law, Section 17 to 152, conspiring to promote a candidate, Trump, by unlawful means, including the aforementioned campaign finance violations and tax mischaracterizations. And 3. Falsification of other business records, mischaracterizing the reimbursements to Michael Cohen as legal services to hide their true nature, which also involved violations of state tax laws. Essentially, the underlying crime was an illegal scheme to suppress negative information from voters during the 2016 presidential election.
Election interference. There you go. Yeah. I know you guys don't know this, even though I guarantee most of you have, been involved in the legal system from, the bad side. Any crime, not any, but I mean, depending on how it's committed or what it's committed for, the charge can be enhanced from a classification to another, from misdemeanor to felony. From a less serious felony to a more serious felony, depending on the state you're in. You might have felony 1, felony 2, felony 3. Okay. Felony 1's being the most serious, of course. So you could initially be charged with a felony 3, and then they find out, oh, you did it for this reason. Now it's a felony 1, stuff like that. It happens in every city, in every state across America, every single day. But you guys, none of that I just played you. That's why none of you are saying shit. None of you knew any of that because you simply listen to dummies who tell you there was no underlying charge. What was the underlying charge? So you guys come in here all confident and ask that question like as if I can't give you the answer. Yeah. Tell me how, Jed. Tell me how, considering that Donald Trump has taken a bribe of a $400 million jet that's going to cost American taxpayers $1 billion to retrofit, which he then takes with him in 2029. Doesn't no future president gets to use it. He's made $4 billion off of the office of the presidency. $500 million of that is because he sold AI chips to the UAE so they could have technology we didn't want them to have. Okay. 3.8 billion from his crypto coin. So he's selling Bibles, watches, at least those things. He's actually selling something. And he still sends emails every single day to his people asking for $2,500 donations and stuff. The guy pardoned the former president of Honduras, who was found guilty by a U.S. jury in 2024 of trafficking 500 tons of cocaine into our country. And when he was asked why, he said, I don't know. I heard it was a Biden witch hunt or something. Yeah. Then he pardoned CZ, a guy who pleaded guilty to his crimes, a guy that fucking ran the crypto platform, Binance. Okay. The guy pleaded guilty to his crimes. He was laundering money for terrorists, pedos, drug lords, everything. Pleaded guilty, so he wasn't railroaded. He said in a court of law, yes, I committed these crimes, and this is why I committed them, and this is how I committed them. Well, he got Donald Trump a $2 billion investment in World Liberty Financial, Trump's company, and guess what? He got a pardon. A guy who pleaded guilty to his crimes got a pardon because he gave Trump $2 billion. And guess who owns 87% of Trump's stablecoin right now? Guess. CZ, Binance. So he sells pardons too. By the way, when he was asked why he gave that pardon to CZ, the obvious reason is he sold the pardon. You know, the guy got him money, therefore, boom, you get a pardon. You bought a pardon. He can't say that. So in the 60 Minutes interview, it took place a couple of months ago. He said, you ready? You know how he does that? You ready? I don't know who the guy is. I don't know anything about it. Now that sounds like an auto pen situation to me. I got to be honest. Of course, it's not. He knew who he pardoned. He just couldn't say he knew. You know? Read the whole list. Also, Trump. Or you say read the whole list. Also, Trump was offered a 16-year-old by Epstein so Epstein could blackmail him. He rejected it. Read the files. It says that. I'll look for that, but I haven't heard anything about that so far. And how would we know Trump rejected the 16-year-old? How would we know that? Are you just going to totally ignore the accusations of him raping 13-year-olds and just focus on that one thing? Oh, bullshit. Michael Will, it's another thing you guys are so wrong about. I'll tell you the story real quick since you don't know anything about why we've seen the Epstein files we've seen so far. So in February of 2025, Pam Bondi, I know you all remember this, at a press briefing said, I have the list on my desk. I have the files. I just have to review them. Well, according to every news publication in America and Kash Patel, when he was testifying in front of Congress, a few months later, she went to Trump and told him, listen, your name is all over the files. So the FBI, and Kash Patel admitted to this under oath, the FBI assigned 1,000 FBI agents to redact Trump's name from the files, which is why he's named 1 million times in the files, and we've only seen about 38,000 of those mentions, okay? Because it's all redacted. So, and I can only imagine with the shit that's not redacted, I can't even imagine what's in the shit that is. Guarantee you it's rape accusations from his, dealings with Epstein going back 3-4 decades. Guarantee you. You'll see. Okay. So they came out in July, 2 months later. And what did they say to you guys? What did they say to all of us? After Pam Bondi said in February, the list is on my desk. I have the files. They said, there is no list. We have no files. That's what they said in June of 2025. And then Pam Bondi said, the case is closed. No further investigations. Now that's when it became okay to release the files, because during Trump's, last 2 years in office and Biden's 4 years in office, they were prosecuting Ghislaine Maxwell. She was convicted under Biden. She immediately went on appeal, and the case was still open. So the FBI was still getting tips and information. They had open investigations on people, litigation. They couldn't release the files until Pam Bondi said in July 2025, the case is closed, which is why it became such a big deal then. And that's why the Democrats said, what? They're going to tell us there's no list? Fuck that. So Thomas Massie, a Republican, and Ro Khanna, a Democrat, they got together and authored a discharge petition. Now, the point of this petition was to force a vote on the House floor to release the Epstein files, okay? It would then go to the Senate and the president's desk. After that, it would be a law called the Epstein Files Transparency Act. So they needed 218 signatures. Guess how many were Republicans? Guess, guys. Let's play a guessing game. Guess how many of those signatures were Republicans? Yeah, I know they do. I know. Yeah, none of your business. Four. And, okay, Trump, two of them were Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, when Marjorie Taylor Greene made the decision to sign the petition and she made it known to Trump, Trump called it a hostile act. He said, you're committing a hostile act if you sign the petition. So why would he say that, right? Now, according to her now, in every interview she's done in the last several days or weeks, she said that Trump told her, he doesn't want the Epstein files released because a lot of his friends will be hurt, meaning him and his friends, okay? Then Lauren Boebert, who had already signed the petition, let me go back a second. Adelita Grijalva, they had 213 Democrats and 4 Republicans. They needed one more Democrat signature, one more, okay? So Adelita Grijalva, she's a woman that won a House seat in Arizona, I don't know, towards the end of the summer. She was going to be the 214th Democrat signature, so the 218th signature, okay? So Mike Johnson shut down the House for 50 days, remember? 50 days. You know why? Because he didn't want to have to swear her in. The news media was all over him. Why aren't you swearing her in? She wants to be sworn in. Oh, well, it's a pro forma session, but you just a few months back, you swore in 2 Republican House members the day after they won the election. Oh, well, that was different. Anyway, he kept the House shut down for 50 fucking days. There was the government shutdown and all that. And then he had no choice. After the government reopened, he reopened the House and he swore her in, and she became the 218th signature on the discharge petition. So out of the 218 signatures, 4 were Democrats. Republicans. Okay. So if it was not for the Democrats, we would not have had the Epstein Files Transparency Act. There is no way on God's green earth 218 Republicans would have signed that. Okay. So the Democrats forced the release of the files. And whether you want to believe it or not, you think I just made up everything I said? Look up anything I just said. Anything I just said. Speaker doesn't control that. What doesn't he control? Tell me, Kleinsy. I'm sure you're very intelligent. What doesn't he control? Trump was proven a rapist and could have submitted DNA evidence, but Trump refused and instead paid $100 million because he was innocent. MAGAs are so dumb. I know. Didn't Trump said he waited for the little girl to grow up? I don't know what you mean. He looked at a 10-year-old on an escalator and said, I'll be dating her in 10 years. That might be what you mean. Deny this, that sanctuary cities are aren't modern day slavery. They're not modern day slavery. Do you want to know? Deny that sanctuary cities aren't modern day slavery? You're asking me that, Antonio? They aren't. Slavery is forced unpaid labor. Illegal immigrants working is a choice. They pick the job and then they get paid for it. They just get paid less than an American would, which is kind of the deal, right? You know, when you come into the country, if you're able to stay here for any period of time and work, you're not going to get paid as much as Americans. So it's literally your choice to risk your life, to cross the border, to come to the country you've dreamed of being in your whole life. And the only catch is, well, if you manage to not get caught and get a job, you're going to get paid probably half of what an American worker would get paid. So it's literally their choice to perform that labor, to do that job for that pay. That is the exact, complete, and total opposite of slavery. No, they're not trying to divide us. Jake Jones, the guy's a pedophile. What are the Democrats supposed to say? Let's forget all about this. Jake Jones, let me ask you something. Why are they still hiding 3 million files? And why is Trump's name redacted like 90% of the times it's in the files? Why is that? Why? How come when the Republicans, Pam Bondi, allowed some Democrat congressmen to go in and check out the unredacted files, they searched Trump's name and found 1 million mentions. So then the Department of Justice disabled that feature so they couldn't use the search thing to search anybody's name anymore. Why is that? Yeah, he does. He really does. He does. And now the Republicans have had it with him too. They're sick of this horse shit. No way, Pepper Moon. He won't. Trump reported Epstein to the authorities in 2006. Keep living in delusion. No, he didn't. Trump, after the investigation into Epstein was made public, which he couldn't have blown the whistle, right? Because he didn't call until after. When he called, he simply said, "Oh, thank goodness you're stopping him." Everybody's known about his crimes for years, which was not right because he admitted knowing Jeffrey was a pedophile, even though they were best friends for 10 years. The only thing he said is focus on Ghislaine. She's pure evil. So he did not blow the whistle on Epstein. He didn't rat on him. He didn't work as an informant. None of that happened. He just made the call to cover his own ass because he even told the cop, well, in case Epstein tells you, I was in a room with some teenage girls and him, but I got out of there right away. So we know why that phone call was made. I'm clueless about which thing. Let me go back and check. All right, you want to call in and debate me? Tell me how I'm wrong, Antonio De La Rosa. Don't just say you're clueless. Don't do what MAGA does. Tell me how I'm wrong. Every other country's leaders and politics have resigned, no accountability or resignation from Trump's leaders in Congress. What the fuck? It's good old America. I know, none of your business. I know. They literally bust them to cities so they could get gov funding. You're an idiot. First of all, Antonio De La Rosa, I thought you were one of the smart ones. Turns out you're another MAGA fucktard, Italian. I'm ashamed to know. If you're going to call me an idiot, please spell the word "you're" right. It's only okay. You know what I mean? Like, if I were to call you an idiot and I said you is an idiot, wouldn't it make it sound like I'm actually the idiot? Yeah, same thing, Antonio. And they did not bust them to cities so they could get funding. Funding for what? You do know that illegals can't receive federally funded health care or welfare of any kind, right? It's against federal law. You do know that, don't you? But Antonio, hey, you know the number, right? You can call him right now. We could debate. You want to do so? Guys, hit the like button and subscribe. Seriously, everybody who agrees with me at least, hit the like button right now. And send a super chat if you can. I haven't gotten one in like fucking 40 minutes. Hook me up. Yes, definitely. Trump is the greatest president ever. Would vote for him again. Deport all the illegals. Well, Edwin, at least you're honest that you told us why you'd vote for him again. You don't care if he's a rapist. You don't care if the prices of everything are up because of Trump. You don't care if unemployment is the highest it's been since COVID. You don't care about the fact that Joe Biden was creating like 2 million jobs a fucking year, whereas Trump has created a total of 180,000 since he took office on January 20th, 2025. You don't care about any of that as long as he deports illegals. I know. Did he, Matthew? Oh, shit. Antonio, tell me more. Tell me what I'm wrong about. I don't know. How do you meet a pedo in the middle? You don't. The Dems are pedophiles. Sure. Yeah. Again, everything they say is the opposite of the truth. Trump makes Republicans look horrible. He brings out the worst of human nature. Yeah, no doubt. Homie, I'm not saying he's not. We need to stop this Democrat versus Republican thing. We finally have something everyone can agree is bad, and they are trying to divide us. But Jake, the problem is they don't agree. Look at the chat. They deny the files in every way they can if they pertain to Donald Trump in any way, even though these were the people that screamed for years about a cabal of elites that run a pedophile ring. And what do you know? It turned out to be the Republicans. And now they don't want no part of it. It's a conspiracy theory. You're crazy. I know what you're saying, Jake, but I do not want to be united with these people. These are despicable people that support pedophiles. I will not in any way, shape, or form be united with them. Trump is constantly falling asleep and appears to have had a stroke, not to mention all the head checks. It's clear that he is on his way out. Oh, there's no question. So he was president in 06. LOL, you're killing your argument. No, Kleinsy, yours just doesn't make sense. I don't understand. When are you saying he blew the... Didn't you say he blew the whistle on Trump or on Epstein? When did he do that? Because the phone call you guys keep saying was him blowing the whistle. That took place in 2006. What does it matter if he was the president or not? What is your logic? I don't understand. I know. It's disgusting, Melanie. Dallas, you can call in and debate me. I bet you I fucking wiped the floor with you. How much you want to bet? Nah, Jake, listen, you go unite people somewhere else. I don't want to be friends with people who support pedophiles, period. Oh, I know. Antonio, what happened? Would you disappear once I challenged you to debate? What a surprise. They don't have SSN number to get benefits, but put billions into the economy every year. Deborah, literally $95 billion a year illegals put into the system. They pay into taxes. And they pay into programs that they can never collect from. Yeah, they don't have a social security number. You can't get any kind of federally funded anything without one. You can't get Medicare. You can't get Medicaid. You can't get cash cash assistance, Section 8 housing, or food stamps. You can't do it. No, Tom. You're just not bright. You're talking about I'm assuming you're talking about the EMTLA, the Emergency Medical Treatment Labor Act. All that says is that if me, you, or some illegal walks into an emergency room with an emergency, like our leg is falling off, or we have a fever of 104, you know what I mean, or we got shot through the eye with a bow and arrow, something like that, they have to treat us and stabilize us. That's it. That is it. That's all they have to do. You do not have health coverage. If you need a surgery after that, you are fucked. You don't have health care coverage. And all the government does is reimburses a small percentage of whatever it costs to treat and stabilize that person to the hospital. They reimburse a small percentage of it. That is, by definition, not health care. Health care is health coverage. Like as if you got a doctor's appointment, that's okay. My insurance will take care of that. I got a surgery. Well, it costs $1 million, but the insurance is going to pay $900,000 of that. They don't have that. No, I know. Believe me, I'm not trying to get through to them. I just like making them look stupid. They just want to be free to say the N-word. Deborah, you're 100% right. That's all it's about. I can't walk around and say the N-word all day. Fucking cancel culture, woke jokes. No, it was Tom. There was 16.6 million jobs created, and 6.6 million of them did not exist before the pandemic. So still 6.6 million jobs were created from out of nothing. Now, if you look up the last 4 Republicans, I believe it was, I think they've created a total of 2 million jobs. The last 4 Republican presidents combined created about 2 million jobs, all combined. Okay. So at the very least, Joe Biden created 6.6, but He oversaw basically 16.6 million jobs created. So that means that's, you know, tremendously more than any Republican president ever. More than the last four combined, 4 times more. Okay. It's insane. So, oh no, I'm sorry. You know what? I think it's 1 million. I think it was 1 million, not 2 million. Yeah. Yeah. So 4 times more than the last 4 Republican presidents combined. So, there's no way you could try to rewrite history and change that fact, but it's not going to work. Let me see. Man, Antonio disappeared. What a surprise. I can't believe it. I challenged him to a debate and he went bye-bye. What a surprise. Idiots support pedophiles. Democrats are idiots. How many Democrats are in the Epstein files that we know of so far? Bill Clinton and Bill Gates. And Bill Gates isn't a politician of any kind. And Bill Clinton was accused with Donald Trump of raping a girl. They're part of the same accusation. So Bill Clinton, if he's a pedo, and he probably is, he should go to prison for the rest of his fucking life. We don't care about Democrats and Republicans when it comes to pedophilia. If you are that, you should go to prison for the rest of your life. But you guys don't feel the same way because Trump is your guy. And without Trump, you got no identity. Let's admit it. Okay, so basically, that's what you do. You'll excuse any of his horrible actions in the past or anything so he can remain your guy. No, I know it is, Lan. I know. And Trump is suing his own country for $10 billion. What a patriot. That's taxpayer money. Yep. If Trump should pass before I wake, I pray the Lord. I pray to Lord. Pray to the Lord that news ain't fake. Yes, me too. I'm going to say that every night before bed, even though I'm an atheist. Why not? It can't hurt. Look at that. Antonio completely disappeared. What a fucking surprise. Guys, listen, I'm being honest with you. I'm not kidding. I mean, you don't want to debate me. I mean, I'll give any of you the number right now, but it's going to be a huge mistake on your part. I mean, I debate people on here almost every day, and I fucking annihilate them. I mean, bottom line is, I know this is going to piss you off, but you guys don't know anything. I mean, it's just the way you listen to misinformation 24 hours a day, and you refuse to do the simplest research. That's why so many questions that you've asked, I had the answer right off the top of my head, and I could prove the answer is correct. But the simplest things that should be common knowledge to anybody, in any way, shape, or form interested in politics, but yet you guys don't know the most basic shit. It's amazing. Okay, Wes Newman. So let's go over it. So when Donald Trump was in office, COVID started, right? Donald Trump did the first shutdown, if you don't remember. Okay, shut down the whole country. Took it off a couple of weeks later and then left it to the states. But he initiated that. All right. In April of 2020, we had 14.4% unemployment. When he left office, it was down a little. We had 6.6% unemployment. But he lost 2.5 million jobs. He's the only president since Herbert Hoover to leave office with less jobs than he came into office with. Okay. So he had 6.6% unemployment. Joe Biden inherited that horse shit. Now, also, and you could look this up on any source you want in the world, every nation in this country, in this world, got hit with massive inflation. Okay. So that's why in 2022, the inflation rate was 9.1%. It's not about anything Biden did. If Trump was in office, it would have been that or more. Okay. So he brought Trump's unemployment rate from 6.6% down to 3.4%, which is a 54-year low. And he kept it under 4% for the longest period of time in American history. All right. He was creating 300 and something thousand jobs a month. Like I said, about 16.6 million in a year. He brought the inflation down from 9.1% to 2.4%. right? And right now it's 2.7%. The GDP went up 14% under his administration. He was hitting record highs in the stock market all the time, which is really no big deal because the stock market always hits record highs. But you guys like to use that as some indicator of success. Okay. He did the American Rescue Plan, which gave all of you stimulus checks. Remember that? He did the Inflation Reduction Act, which created 750,000 manufacturing jobs. He created the Chips and Science Act, which also created a fuck ton of jobs. He did the PACT Act, which increased funding to the VA. Now, look it up. Donald Trump, since he's been in office, decreased funding to the VA and fired tens of thousands of veterans. Okay, you can look that up. So Biden increased funding to the VA, and when he passed the PACT Act, it gave I don't know if it's because of the increase in funding, I'm assuming, but it was to take care of veterans of ours who were affected by burn pits in Afghanistan and stuff like that. So that's a good thing, right? Yeah, Trump cut the funding to the VA. He also did the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which if you're not happy about that, then I guess you don't like roads and bridges and that kind of shit. So literally, I could show you Wall Street Journal. What did the Wall Street Journal say in October 2024 about our economy? Rupert Murdoch owned. Why wouldn't it? All right. It says in October 2024, the Wall Street Journal reported that the U.S. economy was in a strong leading position globally. Strong growth and outlook. Economists forecasted 2.2% GDP growth in Q4 2024, up from a 1.7% forecast in July. The economy was considered to be putting its peers to shame. Their headline was whoever wins this election inherits an amazing economy. That's what Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal, said about the economy in October 2024. So this is the problem. See, some of us know this stuff. Like we research and read and study and we learn, believe it or not. Whereas you guys listen to Fox News and Donald Trump tell you how the economy was shit under Biden and it's wonderful now, even though by every metric, basically, the economy is worse than it was under Biden right now. Again, unemployment is the highest it's been since COVID. Okay. There was more job losses in January than we've had since 2009. Since in any January since 2009. Okay, he lost jobs 4 months out of 2025. 4 different months he lost jobs. He created a total now about 180,000 jobs in 1 year. Biden was creating about twice that every single month. Utilities are through the fucking roof because of tariffs and other things. Okay. Grocery prices are up. The only thing down is gas and eggs, which Trump had nothing to do with. As soon as bird flu was under control, the egg prices are going down. And gas is down about, on a nationwide average, 30 cents a gallon. So you're saving yourself. You got a 12-gallon tank, or, a $3.60 a week or so, however often you fill up, $3.60. Everything is up except jobs numbers. Oh, new cars cost more under Trump. Rents and mortgages cost more under Trump. So there you go. This guy said, if this guy believes this, I got a bridge to sell him. Biden didn't create shit, but more problems. Of course, all the facts fly in the face of your bullshit. You can simply fact check everything I say as I'm saying it. But we know you guys are allergic to fact checks. All right. Well, good luck with that, Carl. Homie, why are you an atheist? Genuine question. I don't understand how people can't believe in something greater than them. I don't understand how people can. I mean, I believe in myself. Okay, that's what got whatever little I have in this life is because I believed in myself. Let's use this as an example. I'm 6.5 years clean and sober. The majority of people you'll see in recovery, they give all the credit to God for getting them clean and sober. they take the credit away from themselves, which is really heartbreaking because they deserve the credit if they got clean. When I woke up one day and I just had too much, I called, well, actually, my mom for me called crisis intervention. And they got a hold of me, and somebody found me a bed in a beautiful rehab. And I went there and I got clean. God played no part in it. Okay. I know you'll try to spin it as well. He's the one that made you make the phone. There's no God. Okay. If you can look around this world and see that 5,000 children under is it 5? I think 5,000 children under the age of 5 every day die of preventable illness in this world. If you could look at childhood leukemia, if you could look at fucking the mass shootings, the school shootings, you see 26 kids get slaughtered in a classroom and you say, but there's a God. Yeah, okay. If there's a God, he's fucking useless. I have no use for him. Okay. Because he either can't do anything about the horrible atrocities that take place in this world, or he just doesn't care enough to. Either way, I have no use for him. So you don't have to believe there's something greater than you, bro. You can believe in yourself and you won't be disappointed. Believe me. Stop giving the credit to an invisible figure in the sky you were brainwashed into believing is real, and start giving the credit to yourself if you're doing well. You know, the arrogance of religious people. I've seen religious people on my own Facebook and stuff say, oh my God, I passed my my midterms. Thank God. God is good. Oh my God. I didn't have my rent. I was getting evicted, and somehow they came across the money. Thank God. God is so good. My life is so great because of God. Do you know the arrogance it takes to look at things that way when there's children dying in this country every day of cancer and all over the world of, like I said, preventable illnesses and, other things, preventable or not. Okay. When there's the mass shootings and the school shootings and people are, being killed in car accidents and natural disasters, and people go blind and wind up in wheelchairs and everything else. You know how arrogant you have to be to think, with all the problems in the world, because God doesn't just look out for the US, there's 7 billion people in the world. He's worried about your fucking rent or your stupid fucking midterms. That's the arrogance of religious people. Listen, the reason you guys are who you are, the right and the left is who they are, is because we believe shit we can hold in our hands and see with our eyes. You believe in shit based on faith because you want it to be true. And that's why you're Trump supporters and we're not. We look at Trump and we see what he is. You look at Trump and you see whatever you want Trump to be. Even your support for him, you base on faith that he'll do the right thing, even though 5 years in office now, we have yet to see him do the right thing even once. If you know how many babies alone died in this world because of U.S. aid being cut, 300,000 babies, because we used to provide anti-AIDS I forget what you call it exactly, AIDS medication, HIV medication. To children that were born with HIV because of their mothers having it. We used to fund the medications that would keep those babies alive. We took that away, and 300,000 babies have died since. Okay, stuff like that. Meanwhile, Trump spent $110 million on golf trips so far, just in 1 year. And he's spending $1 billion to get his own personal plane retrofitted. He spent $20 million to go to the Super Bowl last year, and he only stayed up until the black guy started rapping. And then he had to go all of a sudden. This is the money that's being spent. This is the money that's being spent on Trump's bullshit. And you guys are worried about, $37 a year coming out of your paycheck for fucking, so that starving people can eat and stuff like that. You're ass backwards, and you believe in a scumbag because he's your identity, and without him, you don't have one. And that's the serious problem with MAGA. And that's why I don't want anything to do with any of you. Have a good day. I'll see you in a few hours. Peace.